So I took what I thought was, well, I thought it was something else out of my deep freezer, but really it was a pack of thin pork chops. So, plan B. I've been wanting soup anyway. So I remembered that in that same freezer I had in my pecan jar, I had put leftover broth only from my potato, ham, and cheese soup. There was like a lot of extra broth compared to the what I call guts, you know, the ham and the stuff like that. So this is thawing out on the, I'll put it on the counter here. And that's already a ton of flavor. I wasn't getting rid of that. So I cut up a little mirepoix, you know what that is. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. Get in there, get in there. I'll get the rest out in a second. And then I'm going to cover that also with, now usually I would pan saute the mirepoix, but I'm just making a fast soup. Now, when the pork chops are fall apart tender, and I have this on high, I'll put the lid on, then I'm going to add my broth. Okay, so the pork chops will flavor this, and then along with this, it's going to be a great batch of soup. And look, it was just like from a mistake comes a great pot of soup. Yeah, I thought this was going to be a totally different thing from the freezer, but some of the best meals are made by mistake, right? So, all right. Okay, back to my soup. I decided I had this little tiny small head of cabbage. So I broke up the little thin pork chops. They crumbled up real nice with my hands. And then this thawed out. I tasted it just to make sure. There's a little bit of ice in there. But I'm going to cover and simmer until ready. I'm trying to do this like this. Get in there. See how there's little bits of carrots and stuff? Let's see if I need all of that. You know, I'm not going to refreeze it, but this will be so good. Now, it's not ham, but it's little pork chops. And they have like no fat on them. I'm going to put a little bit more in. Heck with it. I like broth. Look how high it is. But I'm going to keep it on like kind of low. And then we're going to have a nice little soup. I won't have to season it much at all. Maybe a little salt at the end. So I served us some soup. This cabbage, the broth. It smells delicious. It is delicious. Deep back flavor from the mirepoix. So good. And instead of like a grilled cheese, we decided we're going to have, I call them quesadilla for lack of a better, it's a simple quesadilla. It's got the cheese. Now these are those huge tortilla. So what I do is I make it like an omelet because I can't flip that whole thing over. So I like to do this first. Let me grab this. Because I get the cheese melty, so when I flip it, it will stick. Okay. So once that's melted, I can flip it. And then it ends up looking like this. Yummy. I like to use a pizza cutter, but I have one hand and I can't grab it. So look at that. And that little cheese on the end like that. So good. Ouch. It's so hot. Okay. So it just takes a second. Get off there, you. I'm going to flip it. Just like it's an omelet. Over. I went a little bit too far over. So I'm going to turn it this way. Get a little bit more brown. There is no oil needed when you heat up a tortilla like this. None. Just, you don't need a thing, okay? And when in the back, look at my barbecue sauce is getting thicker. I just made a video on that a long time ago. Oops, did I dribble? No, that's the cheese. And you gotta watch these. They'll get brown real fast. So, there you go. Yummy. Tortilla and cheese and scallion, my favorite quesadilla.